Well, recently I got the following question. What was the state of Rommel's troops at the Second Battle of El Alamein? As far as I know, they were in bad shape, lacking fuel, spare parts and even usable tanks. Well, so let's look at the supply situation, the balance of force and a short analysis of the battle. Now the supply situation for the Afrika Korps was simply put bad. Generally the amount of supplies that reached northern Africa and were for the Wehrmacht fluctuated quite a bit. You need to remember the Italians did most of the shipping, but they also needed to supply their own units and civilians. There were also other issues, for instance the Italian tank fuel couldn't be used in German tanks. Here's a short look on the roller coaster of total supplies that arrived in northern Africa. As you can see, there's quite a large fluctuation and also a dip in October, which is relevant since the battle started on the 23rd of October. But these are the total number of tons shipped, whereas the number that was for the Wehrmacht was far lower, as you can see here. Now on the day of the attack the fuel situation was dire enough that air supply was ordered and 100 tons was transported from Krieg to Tobruk. In general there were shortages in various areas, and on the day of the attack the army command noted that the army does not possess the essential operational freedom of movement due to the current fuel situation. Nevertheless, a few days before the attack, the defense in depth was mostly finished, besides the deployment of mines in the coastal area. In total 445,000 mines were deployed, although this included enemy minefields that were repurposed. Now let's take a short look at the balance of force. Now a few days before the battle, on the 19th of October 1942, the Germans had 273 panzers and the Italians 289, but the Italian tanks were of rather limited quality. Of the German panzers, only about 50% were of proper quality. 88 Panzer IIIs with the 50mm gun, 7 Panzer IV with the short-barreled 75mm gun, and 28 Panzer IVs with the long-barreled 75mm gun. So in total 562 tanks, whereas the British 8th Army had more than 1000 tanks. Another source, which has similar numbers for the Germans, has a more detailed number on the Allied tanks. By the start of the offensive, 8 armies' effective tank strength ready for action was 1038, comprising 252 Shermans, 170 Grants, 294 Crusaders, 119 Stuarts, 194 Valentines, 6 Matildas and 3 Churchills. In addition, there are around 200 of all types available as replacements. In terms of men, on the 23rd of October around 60,000 Germans and Italians with about 550 tanks were fighting against 195,000 Allied soldiers with about 1,000 tanks. In the air forces and the navies the discrepancy was even higher. In short, the Allied forces had a clear numerical superiority, whereas the Axis had supply problems, but was deeply entrenched. It is quite interesting and balanced what is noted by the series Germany and the Second World War about Montgomery's plan and its context. This plan was not very original and it was not deemed as such by most British generals and historians. It should be noted, however, that the battle due to the extensive minefields raised special problems that could not be solved with pure tank tactics. It has therefore rightly been argued that only the rigidity and consistency with which Montgomery's plans played out Allied material superiority without regard to casualties finally led to the breakthrough in the German-Italian positional front. So a short answer to your question would be A. The numerical superiority was crucial, yet B. The possibilities for a tactical masterpiece probably were rather limited. Now another related question about the second battle of Alamein from Rommel was: what were the conditions of Rommel's retreat westward after the second battle of Alamein? So first off, the German retreat lasted for almost 3 weeks starting in early November. The German and Italian troops had a severe lack of fuel. For instance, a counteroffensive by the 21st Panzer Division was not possible due to the lack of fuel, and in the following days it had to demolish some of its panzers that had run out of fuel. Soon Mussolini ordered to halt the retreat. Yet Rommel pointed out immediately that it could hardly be expected to maintain this position, since the army had now lost the majority of Italian infantry, tanks, anti-tank weapons, artillery and anti-aircraft guns. Particular difficulties were caused by the heavy rains that had softened the ground, so that the further retreat had to take place on the coastal road. There was also a big problem with supplies. On the 23rd of November, so basically 1 month after the start of the Second Battle of Alamein, Rommel noted there were only 35 panzers out of the intended strength of 371 panzers left. So in other words, the situation was pretty dire. A big thank you to Bodo and Orel for your support. I hope you liked these answers. Also a big thank you to all my Patreons. You keep the show running and improving. Thank you for watching and see you next time.